He can give you more than I can give you. He knows me more than I know me. So it is not that it is a lower thing. However, if you would like some instruction from me, then I can tell you this. And then Mahaprabhu gives these very important instructions. We can just quickly go through those again and then continue. Okay. So we are in Antya Lila chapter 6. Hasi Mahaprabhu Raga Natere Kohilo Tomar Upadeshta Kori Swarupe Redilo. Smiling, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu told Raghunath Das, I have already appointed Srup Damodar Goswami as your instructor. Sadhya Sadantatva Shika Iharstane Amitata Nahi Jani Iho Jata Jane. You may learn from him what your duty is and how to discharge it. I do not know as much as he. Tatapi Amaragyai Shadajadi Hoy Amare Vakyetobe Koriho Nishchoy. Nevertheless, if you want to take instructions from me with faith and love, you may ascertain your duties from the following words. Gramya Katana Shunibe, Gramya Vartana Kohibe, Balona Kaibe Ar Balona Padibe. So these are famous instructions of Mahaprabhu given to Raghunath Das Goswami, which are very helpful for all practitioners to be acquainted with and try to follow. So first, Gramya Kata na Shunibe. Do not talk like people in general, do not hear what they say. Don't speak ordinary worldly topics and don't hear it either. You should not eat very palatable food, nor should you dress very nicely. And we can mention here our principle is Yukta Vaidagya. So according to that we will not take anything very enjoyable or very attractive for ourselves. This is a very foundational understanding for anyone who's practicing pure devotion. However, at the same time, we also follow the principle of Yukta Vaidagya. So according to the necessity of Krishna's service, then we may engage with many wonderful and very opulent, beautiful things, according to the degree that it is favorable and in the interest of the service of Krishna. So we may dress, it doesn't mean we're going to go around wearing rags. We will, because we are part of course, for someone of a particular level of realization, they may behave like that, but persons like ourselves, first of all, if we were to do that, that would be a type of imitation. It would not be a real feeling. And second of all, we are part of a preaching mission. And so we are trying to represent the dignity and the beauty of this, conception that our gurus are giving us. We're trying to make some good presentation to the world. And we know Srila Gurudev, he mentioned that he liked the devotees to dress nicely. For that reason. But we won't overdo it. And so one reason, the Lord mercifully appears in the form of a deity is so that we can direct that tendency to the Lord, That desire we may have to adorn ourselves, to dress ourselves very nicely, we can direct that in our service to the deity. And it's interesting because, we see some persons, they're very attracted to that, and it's beautiful to see, how all of these things are so, like these teachings, these principles are so perfect, because we see, some persons, they have a great affinity for that. They're very attracted, to direct that tendency in decorating the Lord and making the Lord very beautiful and very attractive in his deity form. Okay. So, not to hear or speak worldly talks, not to eat too nicely, and not to dress too nicely. And then, Amanimanado hoya Krishna namasada lobe, Brajadada Krishna seva manase kodibe. Do not expect honor, but offer all respects to others. Always chant the holy name of Lord Krishna. And within your mind, render service to Radha and Krishna in Vrindavan. So all of these things, they're relevant to us, except for the last one. Braje Radha Krishna Seva Manase Kurupe. And somebody asked Srila Maharaj about this point, and he said, yes, this is for higher level Vaishnava. We are not able to perform such seva at present. If we were to try, it would be an imitation and lead to our degradation. But otherwise, all of these instructions, they're very extremely helpful. I mean, like in a nutshell, like everything we need to know about our practicing life, it's here. To take the holy name, giving honor to others, with humility, not to hear worldly talks, not to speak worldly talks, not to take enjoyment for ourselves, but we will offer enjoyment to the Lord. Eto sankepe ami koilu upadesh saruperatai har paibe vishesh. I have briefly given you my instructions. Now you will get all details about them from Srup Damodar. Trinadapi sunichena turoiva sahishnuna amanina manadena kirtaniya sadahari. One who thinks himself lower than grass, who is more tolerant than a tree, and who does not expect personal honor, but is always prepared to give respect to others, can very easily always chant the holy name of the Lord. So this is significant. This verse from the Shikshashtakam, it is given twice, here and then later when Mahaprabhu is going through these 8 verses, again, that verse is there. So that emphasis is there. If you want to take, the holy name of Krishna, you must have some particular quality of heart. You must enter into that type of, conscious cultivation of the heart. Eto Shini Raghunath Vandila Chadan Mahaprabhu Koilatade Kripa Lingan. Having heard this, Raghunath Das offered prayers at the lotus feet of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and the Lord, out of great mercy, embraced him. Puna Samar Pilatade Saruperastane Antaranga Sevakore Saruperasane. Mahaprabhu then again entrusted him to Srup Damodar. Thus Raghunath Das rendered very confidential service with Srup Damodar Goswami. Enokale aila sab goder bhaktagan purvavat Prabhu sabai korila milam. At this time, all the devotees from Bengal arrived, and as previously, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu met them with great feeling. Sabaloya koila Prabhu gundicha marjan, Sabaloya koila Prabhu vanya bhojan. As he had previously done, he cleansed the Gundicha temple and held a picnic feast in the garden with the devotees. Ratayachai sabaloya korila nartan dekira gunata chamatkar hoiloman. The Lord again danced with the devotees during the Rath Yatra festival. Seeing this, Raghunath was struck with wonder. Raghunath Das Rabe Sabare Milila Advaita Charjatare Bahukripa Koila. When Raghunath Das met all the devotees, Advaita Acharya showed him great mercy. Shivananda Sen Tare Kohen Vivaran Tomaloite Tomar Pita Batailo Dashajan. He also met Shivananda Sen, who informed him, "Your father sent 10 men to take you away." Tomore pataite patre patailo more. He wrote me a letter asking me to send you back. But when those 10 men received no information about you, they returned home from Jankar. Charima shrohi bhakta gan gore gela shuni raghunate pita manusha pataila. When all the devotees from Bengal returned home after staying at Jagannath Puri for 4 months, Raghunath Das's father heard about their arrival and therefore sent a man to Shivananda saying, Se Manusha Shivananda senere puchilo, Mahaprabhur stane ek, Vairagi dekilo. That man inquired from Shivananda saying, Did you see anyone in the renounced order at the residence of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu? Govardhaner putra teho nam Raghunath, nilachole parichoy acheto masat. That person is Raghunath Das, the son of Govardhan Majumdar. Did you meet him in Nilachal? Shivananda kohe teho hoy prabhur stane, padam vikyata teho kebana hi jane. Shivananda Sain replied, Yes, sir. Raghunath Das is with Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and is a very famous man. Who does not know him? Saruper stane tade kodiyachen samarpan, prabhur bhakta ganar teho hoy pranasam. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has placed him under the charge of Srup Damodar. Raghunath has become like the life of all the Lord's devotees. Rachidin korete ho nam sankirtan, kan matra nahi chade prabhur charan. He chants the Hare Krishna Mahamantra all day and night. He never gives up the shelter of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, not even for a moment. Param vairagyatar nahi bhaksha paridan, Ch.Ch ahar kodi rakoye paran. He is in the supreme order of renounced life, or Param Vairagya. He has supreme renunciation. He is extremely, and this we've heard Gurudev and Param Gurudev discuss. The example of Raghunath Das Goswami, it is unparalleled. It is incomparable, his level of renunciation. Of course, it is showing a particular type of renunciation in how can we say, in the conventional sense, and it is a very helpful example for us. But then on the other hand, we see other examples of renunciation. So on the other hand, Ramananda Rai, he's mixing with the world, he's coming into close contact with so many enjoyable material things, but internally, he is fully detached from that. Pundarik Vidyanidhi, also Gadadhar Pandit, he has very simple nature and very detached. When he meets Pundarik Vidyanidhi, he's not accustomed to seeing this particular style of renunciation. Pundarik Vidyanidhi, he's living like a worldly man, living with so many wealthy, enjoyable things of this world, and when Gadadhar Pandit meets him, it is a shock. He cannot comprehend. But then, as he comes to see, he is fully detached from such things. His heart is fully, absorbed in Krishna. But anyhow, this particular, all of these examples, they all teach us different things. They are all very, very helpful for us. So this example of Raghunath Das Goswami, very extreme example, it is very, very, inspiring for us. So he, very clear, what type of consciousness we want to aspire for. Fully given to the higher side and fully detached from the lower side. So he's always taking Krishna Nam, always under the shelter of Mahaprabhu, doesn't leave it for a moment. He is completely, supremely detached from anything of this world. He does not care about eating or dressing. Somehow or other he eats and maintains his life. Doshtandarachi pushpanjile tekiya, simhadware karahoy ahar lagiya. After 10 dandas, or 4 hours of the night, have passed, and Raghunath has seen the performance of Pushpanjali, some offering of flowers at the Jagannath temple, I suppose. He stands at the Simhadwara gate to beg some alms to eat. Keho jadi deya tobe koroye bakshan, kabu pavas kabu koroye charvan. He eats if someone gives him something to eat. And we hear this also about Madhavendra Puri. No, he doesn't eat unless somebody gives him something to eat. Very, what a way to live. What a beautiful way to live. Living on what grace the Lord, this is prasad, to live on what free grace the Lord will send. But if it doesn't come, then it doesn't come. Sometimes he fasts, and sometimes he chews fried grains. Etashuni se manusha govardhana stane, kohilo giyasa raghunath vivadane. After hearing this, the messenger returns to Govardhan Majumdar, the father of Raghunath, and informed him all about Raghunath. Shunitar matapita dukita hoilo, puchatai dravya manusha patai te man koilo. Hearing the description of Raghunath's behavior in the renounced order, his mother and father were not filled with joy like we are right now, but they were very unhappy. Therefore, they decided to send Raghunath some men with goods for his comfort. Chadishat mujradui britek brahman, Shivananda taipa tailo tatakan. Raghunath's father immediately sent 400 coins, 2 servants, and 1 Brahmin to Shivananda, saying, 400 coins, 2 servants, and 1 Brahmin. The Brahmin, I think, must be to cook for him. Shivananda kohe tumi sab, or maybe not, because he's not Brahmin caste, Raghunath Das Goswami. So he wouldn't need a Brahmin to cook for him. So I don't know why they need a Brahmin. Shivananda Sain informs them, you cannot go to Jagannath Puri directly. When I go there, you may accompany me. Ebe gor jaha jabe ami sab cholimo, tobe toma sabakare sangeloya jamo. Now go home. When all of us go, I shall take all of you with me. Hito pashtave Shri Kavi Karnapur, Raghunath Mahima Grante Likila Prachur. Describing this incident, the great poet Shri Kavi Karnapur has written extensively about the glorious activities of Raghunath Das and his Sri Chaitanya Chandradoy Natak. Now this is an excerpt from this text of Kavi Karnapur. Acharjo Jadunandana Sumadhura Shivasudeva Priya Ch.Ch. Raghunath Ityadi Guna Pranadiko Majisham Shri Chaitanya Kripati Reka Satata Snigda Sarupanugo Vairag Yaika Nidirna Kasya Vidito Nila Chale Tishtatam. Raghunath Das is a disciple of Jadunandana Acharya, who is very gentle and extremely dear to Vasudev Dutt, a resident of Kanchani Pali. Because of Raghunath Das's transcendental qualities, he is always more dear than life for all of us devotees of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Since he has been favored by the abundant mercy of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he is always pleasing, vividly providing a superior example for the renounced order. This very dear follower of Srup Damodar is the ocean of renunciation. Who among the residents of Nilachal, Jagannath Puri, does not know him very well? Because of Raghunath's transcendental qualities, he is always more dear than life for all of us devotees of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. since he has been favored by the abundant mercy of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he is always pleasing, vividly providing a superior example for the renounced order. This very dear follower of Srup Damodar Goswami is the ocean of renunciation. Who among the residents of Nilachal does not know him very well? And then another verse, following verse from the same text. Jasarva lokaika mano birucha sobhagya bhu kachida krishta pacha yachayam adupana tulya kalam tat prema saki valavan atulya. Because he is very pleasing to all the devotees, Raghunath Das Goswami easily became like the fertile earth of good fortune, in which it was suitable for the seed of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to be sown. At the same time that the seed was sown, it grew into a matchless tree of the love of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and produced fruit. Because he is very pleasing to all the devotees, Raghunath Das Goswami easily became like the fertile earth of good fortune, in which it was suitable for the seed of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to be sown. At the same time that the seed was sown, it grew into a matchless tree of the love of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and produced fruit. So Bhagyabu, the ground of good fortune. So this is like describing fertile soil. Is that like an expression? Or is that unique here? Like to describe fertile earth? Fortunate earth.
No, it's not revolved as a common expression.
Okay. But Srila Gurudev liked to talk about this, right? Srila Gurudev liked to talk about making our heart fertile. We have everything. We have everything, you know. Our Gurudev has given us everything. Our Guru Varga have given us everything, you know. It's just a question of whether, you know, we're able to receive that. You know. The seed is there. The seed has been given. A very great seed has been given. But it's just a question of whether, you know, that fertile ground, that Saubhagya Bhu, that fortunate earth is there. We have to make that ground fertile, fortunate, so that seed can sprout. And if we can do that, then, you know, what wonderful things will grow from there. We may have a very valuable seed. If we throw it onto some concrete, nothing's going to happen. But that same seed, if we plant it in the proper place and we give it the proper attention, we remove the weeds, we take care of the soil, we provide sunlight, and what a very great and magnificent tree can grow from there. So we don't want to be like blind, deaf and dumb persons just living in base reality, living in the world of our own experience. Krishna Prabhu, I quote sometimes, he told how when he was at an airport with Srila Swami Maharaj Prabhupada once, and he was looking around the crowd, Srila Swami Maharaj, and he said, all I see is cadavers. You know? All I see is dead bodies. That's all I see. You know? Dead people walking, zombies. But that's really what we're like if we're living on the cover of things, living with our own concocted, conception of things. We're just like dead persons. That's already, heartbreaking enough. But to think if we've received something, something's been given to us, and we're not really able to receive it, what is more tragic than that? So, as Srila Gurudev said, we will get our mother's milk. We will not be like the third son of a goat. We will get our mother's milk. We will not dance like the third son of a goat. We will get our mother's milk. Shivananda Ch.Ch se manushe kohila, karnapur se rupe shloka varnila. In these verses, the great poet Kavi Karnapur gives the same information that Shivananda Sain conveyed to the messenger from Raghunath Das's father. So, as far as I understand so far, Govardhan Majumdar, the father of Raghunath, he has some, because Shivananda, as I recall, he's like a together Vaishnava. Some Vaishnavas are just like, totally not together, like poor, just trying to like make ends meet. And then you have a few like Vaishnavas, like we know a few, very few like that, They've got, good jobs, they've got money, they know how to deal with the world, So most of Mahaprabhu's devotees, they're like lost in Krishna Prem, they can't really take care of themselves. So Mahaprabhu gives that instruction to Shivananda, like, take care of my devotees. When they're coming to Puri, you make arrangements for their accommodation, for paying for whatever's necessary, paying the tolls, and etc., etc. So he's in that like echelon of society, Shivananda. So he has some relationship with Raghunath's family, who are very wealthy. And so Govardhan turns to him, please help me, take care of my son, and sends all these resources. When you're going to Puri, take these with you for my dear poor son who's not eating anything, getting so skinny. Okay. Vaishandare Shivananda, Chole Nila Chole, Raghunathar Sevak Vipra Tar Sange Chole. The next year, when Shivananda Sain was going to Jagannath Puri, as usual, the servants and also the Brahmin was a cook, and the Brahmin who was a cook went with him. Okay, well anyhow, I don't know how all these intricacies of the, the social thing work, but anyhow, he needed a Brahmin cook. Sevi Prabritya Chari Shatamujaloya Nila Chole Raghunate Minila Asiya. The servants and Brahmin brought 400 coins to Jagannath Puri, and there they met Raghunath Das. And that's a lot of money, 400 coins. I mean, I don't know how much it is, but it's a lot of money. It's not like 400 pounds, which is a lot for me. But this is like thousands and probably hundreds of thousands by today's valuation. Raghunath Das Sangika na korilo, dravya loya duijan tahi rohilo. However, Raghunath Das did not accept the money and men sent by his father. Therefore, the Brahmin and one of the servants stayed there with the money. Tobe Raghunath kori anek jatan, masedui din koila praborni mantram. At that time, Raghunath began inviting Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to his house with great attention for 2 days every month. Duini mantrane lage kori ashtapan, Brahman Britya Tai Kodenete Grahan. The cost for these 2 occasions was 640 kodis. I don't know how much that was. Therefore, he would take that much from the servant and the Brahmin. So this is, something very appreciable, very nice example. His family are sending all these things. Raghunath is not accepting anything, and then he accepts just what he needs in order to offer something for Mahaprabhu. Emata nimantran varshadui koila, pache Raghunath nimantran chadidila, Raghunath continued to invite Mahaprabhu in this way for 2 years, but at the end of the 2nd year, he stopped. Mastui jabe Raghunath na kore nimantran, sarupe puchila tabe Ch.Ch nandan. When Raghunath neglected to invite Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu for 2 consecutive months, the Lord, the son of Ch.Ch, questioned Srup Damodar. Raghu kene amai nimantran chari dilo, sarup kohe mane kichu vichar korilo. The Lord asked, why has Raghunath stopped inviting me? Srup Damodar replied, he must have reconsidered something in his mind. And he's quoting here the words, Srup Damodar is quoting Raghunath's comment about this. Vishaya dravyaloya korini mantram, prasanna na hoi hai jani prabhorman. I invite Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu by accepting goods from materialistic people. I know that the Lord's mind is not satisfied by this. Mor chitta dravya loite na hoy nirmal, eni mantrane deki pratishta matra fal. My consciousness is, so this is Raghunath continuing, my consciousness is impure because I accept all these goods from people who are interested only in pounds, shillings, and pence. So this is Srila Swami Maharaj, using something of the language of, I don't know if it was the language of when he was writing, but anyhow, some English expression. Wealthy people, people who are, materialistic, wealthy people. So my consciousness is impure because I accept all these goods from people who are interested. What does it say in the Bengali? Where is that in the Bengali? It's not pure. That's what it's saying in the Bengali, right? It's not nirmal. No, that's his mind. I don't understand this. Where is this pound to shillings and pence?
Can you reread the verse?
Oh, I thought you had it in front of you. Mor chitta dravya loite na hoy nirmal, e nimantrane deki pratishta matra fal. Well, I think he's elaborating because Raghunath's saying, my consciousness is not pure because I'm receiving this. All I'm getting by this is pratishta. Yeah. Okay. Uparode Prabhu mor mane nimantran, namanile duki hoibek morka ajan. At my request, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu accepts the invitations because he knows that a foolish person like me would be unhappy if he did not accept them. Eta vichariya nimantran chari dilo, shuni Mahaprabhu hasi bolite lagilo. Considering all these points, Srup Damodar concluded, he has stopped inviting you. Hearing this, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu smiled and spoke as follows. Ishayer anakaile malin hoy man, malin man hoilanahe Krishner smaran. When one eats food offered by a materialistic person, one's mind becomes contaminated. And when the mind is contaminated, one is unable to think of Krishna properly. Vishayerana hoy rajas nimantran, tata bhakta duhar malin hoy man. When one accepts an invitation from a person contaminated by the material mode of passion, the person who offers the food and the person who accepts it are both mentally contaminated. So, there's some point here, for our consideration. And in Upadeshamrita, Srila Rupa Goswami, he describes this, this exchange of food. It is actually something very intimate, Like even we hear in Western cultures, there's an idea like that, right? Like we hear that, like, I won't break bread at his table, right? Like someone who's not friendly to you, I'm not going to eat bread at his table, So there's some intimate exchange here, and Raghunath Das Goswami mentions this, the offering and accepting of food as bhunkte, bojayate, chaiva, as two, intimate, loving exchanges. And so we will try to, there's an exchange of, it's not just exchange of food, there's an exchange of consciousness there. So we will try to restrict that.
And the word companion means one you break bread with.
Oh, really?
Wow. Pan bread.
Huh, interesting. Wonderful. So we will try to be careful about that, be conscious who we are having this type of exchange with. Of course, we're living in this world, and we follow the principle of yukta vairagya, what is favorable to Krishna. So in many different circumstances, we may have to do things which we're not so comfortable doing, but we will try to, think in those terms that that we are doing this out of necessity in this particular circumstance. And also, we can't like grow all our own food, But Srila Gurudev mentioned, whatever is like being sold, and what type of consciousness is coming behind all of these things. We don't want to think about that. But Srila Gurudev, he mentioned that if there's some exchange of money, then that will nullify the karma there. And then if we're living in the consciousness of offering everything to Krishna, then we'll be saved from any negative reaction. Srila Bhakti Thakur, what is it? Prashada seva karite hoy sakala prapancha jai. That, through the taking of prasad, we will cross over this whole material existence. Because, living in this world, we are, we've got a bad bargain. We can't, in the sense that we cannot avoid making, creating negative reactions for ourselves. We cannot avoid it. That's the nature of this environment. Even if we're trying, we just can't avoid it. So we will try to minimize as much as possible, what, negative reactions we are acquiring for ourselves. We will try to minimize our exploitation, our devastation within the environment. But the fundamental necessity we have is food. We have to eat. But in doing that, just think about all the things that we eat and where they come from, what type of exploitation is behind that, and those plants have souls as well. However, if we are offering that, for the Lord's satisfaction, then not only will there not be any negative consequence, but everyone will be uplifted in that transaction. Those living entities and those foodstuffs, and those who are fortunate to take the prasadam, everyone will be benefited in that transaction. Okay, well, I think I'll stop there. Maharaj, will you bless us with some final words, comments?
I have a question. Maharaj told Raghunath not to eat very nice things. Okay. But we can say that it was already presupposed that Raghunath would not take anything except prasad. So, does this statement of Maharaj mean that one should not eat elaborate types of prasad? Or, luxurious types of prasad? And if so, why not?
Well, my thinking is that that instruction is not really for Raghunath Das Goswami, actually, but it's for us. You know. And about the prasadam, I mean, I don't think we should take, you know, Krishna's satisfaction as an excuse to eat opulent foodstuffs every day. I think you would agree. And on special days, you know. So, I mean, like Srila Sridhar Maharaj, like they would have that sweet rice, right? But from what I've heard, like not everybody would take it. Like they'd have that special sweet rice that was offered for what is his name? Raha Dev, right? The Shalagram Shila. But not everybody would take that, right? I mean, that was what I heard. Like the brahmacharis wouldn't take it, you know. I mean, maybe like it would be guests or something like that, you know. But I don't know. I mean, I think a lot of allowance has been given to us because we can't really live up to the real. I mean, not you, but you know, you're like in Raghunath's line, you know. But generally, you know, like Srila Gurudev, he was very generous, and I mean, even like like our devotees can't even follow a Kadashi, you know, like. I mean, it's pretty sad. Like just like twice a month, like, you know, don't eat these things, and you know, then we hear, you know, some devotees like, oh, but Gurudev, what about this and what about? Can't we take this? Can't we? Like, come on, it's just 2 days a month, you know. Like, even ordinary people in the world, they do these like, you know, 5-day fasts and water fasting and all these things. Like, can't we do where we don't take like this particular food? And there's so many other nice foods anyway you can take on a Kadashi. But you know, we can't really live up to this standard, you know. So then but I mean, I think otherwise we don't really want to take too nicely. Except perhaps on some special occasion, if it's being offered for the satisfaction of the Lord, then as Srip Damodar tells Mahaprabhu, just see how Jagannath has tasted it, you know, because Mahaprabhu is saying, I'm a sannyasi and I should not take such nice foodstuffs. I'll take the lafra and everyone else can take the pita pana and all the fancy things, you know. But so he shows this mood of renunciation, then Srip Damodar tells him, but I want you to taste it. No, you should just see how Jagannath has tasted it. You know, that should be your consciousness. You know, I want to experience I want to see like what type of nice taste Jagannath has experienced. And that will give me joy to think, oh, I'm so happy. I will taste this and I won't think of my own pleasure, but I will taste this and I will think, oh, I'm so happy that Jagannath could take such a nice thing. I'm so happy that the devotees could take such a nice thing. And so, you know, that like shift will take place, you know, from consideration of our own enjoyment, you know, to the Lord's enjoyment. So that principle, you know, may be applied. But I wouldn't think every day. What are your thoughts?
And suppose that Mahaprabhu's instruction is for Raghunath, then how we go?
It is for if it is for Raghunath. Well, that's a tough one. If it is for Raghunath, not to eat nicely. But Raghunath has no desire to eat anything. What is the answer? I don't know the answer. Is there an answer? There must be some commentary on this.
I mean, my thought would be that Mahaprabhu is giving Raghunath general instructions for someone observing the conduct of a renunciate. Mm-hmm. So these are the rules. You know, how much Raghunath is like, not necessarily like you're admonishing a child who's just misbehaved, implying that they're not doing that. Yeah. But just like, now general you've come, now you're living this lifestyle, these are the codes of conduct for someone in this line. Not necessarily implying that Raghunath doesn't get that, or that he's not doing that, but just like, if you're going to ask me do you need to be instructed, then these are the rules, so to speak, of your lifestyle. Maybe taken like that to not imply that Raghunath doesn't get it, but also have some necessity of it being said.
But it's specifically for that, him being in that order of life, you're saying?
Well, would be my first point. But then we can say, beyond that, it is something that will apply not only to renunciates, but to Vaishnavas in general. And that sometimes the view that I hear is, prasad is transcendental, prasad is chinmoy. You taking prasad will cure you of the desire for sense gratification, not inspire it in you. So you can unlimitedly take prasadam. You can freely take prasadam. And this will cure your tendency for sense gratification, not in prasad. However, perhaps only in my cynical mind, I don't see that happening. I don't see that happening myself, nor do I observe it happening in even many of the people who quote this theory. So then the way that I would think of it is that taking prasad is a practice, just like chanting the name or serving the sadhu or whatever. And we see that in other types of practices, people can do those practices and yet, due to the manner in which they engage in them, end up indulging in some mundane thing in the name of doing that type of devotional service. Just as, someone likes to be a kirtan leader and then basks in the pratishtha of leading kirtan. Or someone likes to speak Harikatha and basks in the joy of impressing people with their wit and their jokes and their knowledge and their whatever. Or someone likes to organize festivals and then basks in the glory of making money and being famous and having so many people do what they say and blah blah blah. Basically anything can have some track in it that can also turn into a means for gratification of the senses and the ego, although simultaneously it is clearly a service which has practical utility and is appreciated by others and is related to Krishna and so on and so forth. That these things can entirely commingle. So if that is the case with all these other types of service, then why couldn't that also occur in the case of honoring prasadam? So if we say, if you take prasadam unlimitedly, it's just completely pure and there's nothing to worry about. But when you do kirtan, be worried about all these anarthas. And when you do seva, be worried about all these. When you do all these other things, be worried about all the anarthas that might happen. When you're taking prasadam, no. I find that an inconsistency. And I just came across one place, seriously, where he was saying that, directly, that taking prasad, if it is done, or if someone is thinking, I would like to take nice prasadam, so let me make a nice offering for the deity. If their thinking is in that order, so to speak, then this is not seva. This is indulgence. And my point would be, if that is the case on a particular day or on an individual occasion, then that all the more would apply to a system that's put in place. Or in other words, if we design an ongoing temple structure or function that is built on that concept, then it becomes not only a current, it becomes ingrained in what's happening. So then someone may say, but the practices of Bhakti or prasadam, these things are chinmoy, they're all Sriyukta, they're all part of this higher thing, right? But it is observed that these same practices of Bhakti, They're also used by jnanis in the cultivation of moksha. They're also used by karmis in the pursuit of svarga. And the technical analysis of that is that although bhakti is this spiritual thing, it can also assume this material form when you're interacting with it in this other way. And it like has this like other hologram form that like appears just like it when it's not being utilized for its only purpose, because Bhakti will never allow herself to be used by anyone or express herself through anyone that's not for her Lord. It's impossible. So when people want to, then this apparent form of hers is assumed. And they call it Gunibhuta Bhakti, or this form of Bhakti that is made of the gunas, not nirguna. So then, if this doesn't sound too complicated, then it seems to me that in the course of the life of a sadhaka, then in their aspiration or their general understanding and pursuit of the cultivation of nirguna bhakti, what bhakti that they may be cultivating is like flickering. And sometimes it may have its nirguna form when the alignment and the point is clear, and sometimes it's like hologramming out when it's hitting you and it's like flickering, like kind of like if you have put the radio between two channels and it's like you're hearing a little bit of two channels at the same time. That's just one way of thinking. But to explain how this is possible, then that seems to be one way of accounting for it all. So then ultimately it comes down to the sincerity of the individual in their engagement in activities, not just the magic, carefree power of getting to do these super cool things.
Yeah.
And thus, throughout the Charitamrita, when Mahaprabhu makes this remark to Raghunath, or like when Madhavendra Puri organizes all this seva for Gopal, and a massive festival, the whole village, all the rice, everything, right?
Yeah.
And then at the end, Madhavendra Puri has a glass of milk.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know? Or like the Brahman in Kumbh Mela at the beginning of the Brihad, massive festival, and then something at the end, you know. The actual taste is in the service of it, and what is required to be, done. And this is like that's kind of it. And yet, of course, this whole way that this arrangement of cooking for me may get utilized must be well known to him. You must know all too well that this kind of statement, just offer me some fruits and flowers, will lead to all kinds of things. This must be entirely known to him. So, then I guess what I would say to that would be that it's not that we want to go on a campaign or guilt people about this or some sort of thing like this, because it's just a natural stage in the process, and that people, so to speak, start to become Krishna-centric in their activities, and then gradually the self-seeking tendency is weaned away by that habit of, that's the whole point. So then we're not going to and if we go around telling people they can't be like that, it doesn't actually help them, because it's not something they can just turn off. It's the state that they're in, and it's something that has to be gradually worked through by doing that practice. So it just comes down to just a little nudging. There should just be a tiny nudge on the thing, and then it's hopeful.
Could it be possible that if Mahaprabhu instructed Raghunath to honor simply, that he gave that for the public to see that is the instruction to the sannyasi, so that Raghunath didn't have to reject any opulent offerings of prasadam to him. Because we also hear that, you know, not to accept prasadam is not a good thing. Right?
If I understand.
Sorry. Yeah.
When it's known
Yes.
that someone like Raghunath is going to try to live that way,
Yes.
then that makes it clear to other people why he might not partake or
Exactly.
seek to partake of so many things.
Exactly.
That's
Which is not his inclination anyway. He doesn't want to necessarily have to honor all of these opulent foodstuffs. I don't know, just some speculation.
I mean, that seems like a little bit of a tricky point, because there's many times when Mahaprabhu is like saying, no, but the devotees are Sarvabhauma, Advaita, they're like a little aggressive with it, right? And then we could say, okay, Mahaprabhu's Bhagavan, and he's accepting their bhakti, therefore he's eating all these things. You know, that's his way of actually honoring their offerings. What I was going to say, just on a personal note about that, just that, like, sometimes, you know, you'll be in the midst of some elaborate prasadam arrangement or something, and then devotees are praising the prasad and rejoicing at the mercy, this kind of thing. And then, you know, sometimes, I'm just speaking my personal feelings, sometimes I felt kind of uncomfortable in that slant on it, you know. But then one way that I sort of came to adjust was that it's easier to eat very simply and not be like distracted from that when you're not around that style of doing things. But it's more tricky when it's all there, like in front of you and being repeatedly offered to you and all of this, to like still not so much engage in it. And then I remember sometimes feeling like this is difficult, like this is uncomfortable, you know. But then after some time, then I thought, oh, but this is actually really good, because if you can sustain whatever sort of balance you want to sustain in yourself, even like this, then you really have it, so to speak. Like, they always tell the stories of the yogis who, like, you know, live in the caves on pranayama and carry it for so long, but as soon as they go to the city, they're like, you know, because they're never exposed to any of the opposite, but to actually be able to sustain that inner balance right in front of the thing actually proves that you have it. So then I would be like, yes, this is such a merciful arrangement. I could smile and agree to the spirit, but from another, arriving from another direction, so to speak. Like, yes, there is so much mercy here, and such a wonderful thing to be appreciated. So then I think also sometimes it's a fine line between like affection of devotees in the case of like they want to offer you so many things, and even sometimes you see when people are serving prasadam, like if you don't like take seconds, they're feeling kind of sad, like, oh, I didn't cook very well today, or like this kind of thing, and then it like gets a little gray about you want to kind of like have a merry spirit and sort of honor the nice intent and effort that they've made in that way, you know. So sometimes I believe it's possible to do that, you know, and it is just like you're not just taking this as an excuse, you're actually feeling the feelings of that person,
Yeah.
and you're deciding to have more because of what you felt from them, not because of,
Yeah.
and it's not just your mind like convincing you. And it could also be that, sometimes we do sort of take, the whole point we're talking about is like finding a convenient way. So I believe it is possible, like that a sincere person, they can sincerely do that without it just being some like ploy of whatever, according to their sincerity or integrity.
Can I ask another question? Because you started talking about Gramya Katha, that was the beginning of the reading, and I was wondering if you could offer some guidance to those that find themselves in a devotional setting, but are still may sometimes be exposed to Gramya Katha and how to elegantly distance oneself from such things.
I also would like to hear this answer.
I thought we had this discussion like
let's hear more.
I remember talking with you about it.
It's very difficult. It's very difficult. But I like what Madhusudana Maharaj would say sometimes. I told you, I have wheels on my feet. They have to keep turning. Sorry, I have to go. Yeah, it's difficult. I'm like, first of all, I can't say I'm an authority. It's not like I don't get caught up in Gramya Katha, absolutely I do. But I can say what I aim for, at least, even though I definitely don't live up to it. It's just, to enough an extent to show that you have affection for that person, Like I think Srila Bhakti Thakur, he describes, we heard from Maharaj, the different things that constitute Gramya Katha. And even like discussing the weather is one of them, because it's pertaining to the senses, right? But then, sometimes it's just like you want to show some affection and like some exchange. So you may comment on the weather, but it's more of just like in a way of exchanging like care for one another, rather than actually you want to talk about the weather, or how is your family, how is your work, all of these things, it's more of a way of showing your care and your affection. So, but then at the same time, to keep some mood of detachment and like just enough to show that care and not more, not less, and with that intention in mind, not that you actually want to get absorbed and all of these things. And then when you get in an awkward situation where someone's like imposing it on you, then it depends who it is, if it's like someone who's more junior to you, then you can be a little direct, And I can say that's something I admire about Madhusudana Maharaj. Sometimes he can be like even rude, Like, I don't want to hear this, I don't want to talk, or if someone's giving some criticism about a Vaishnava. I'm a little too sympathetic sometimes if someone comes to me and is like venting their anger at somebody. I feel like very sympathetic to their feeling, and it's difficult for me to just say, look, but with Madhusudana Maharaj, I admire that in him. He can just be like, I'm not going to hear this, So yeah, if it's somebody who's like junior than us, who we have that type of relationship with, we can be more frank with them and gently, but just express that this is this isn't appropriate way to discuss this. We have to be careful, or let's not get too lost in material topics. We can be more frank. If it's somebody who's senior to us, or someone who doesn't see us in that type of way, like, we have more than them, then we have to be a little more careful. And sometimes the best we can do is just come up with some excuse, like, oh, I just remembered I have to go and, or I have to do this. Oh, actually they're waiting for me, we can. Sometimes devotees, they'll have like some pact. Like if they see you're in a stuck situation, they're like, I'll get you out. Like, oh, I need you. So sometimes it's the best we can do, just come up with some excuse. And then also what we can do is, if it's possible, is try to turn the conversation. I try to do that sometimes, like turn things, like change the subject, to something more, more devotionally focused, or something more, some positive angle of vision. But I remember when we were going through the Prema Vivarta, there's a very nice line of Jagadananda Pandit where he uses this word kaushalya, means like a kind of tricky, I think he's talking about avoiding bad association, and how he describes it as a kind of like an art. Like you have to be. Do you remember that line? That like you have to, like an art. Like you may need to be a little tricky, and like clever in trying to avoid that, sidestep that, in one way or another. So, but yeah, definitely difficult, And like for myself, I can be too overcome with sympathy for somebody, and like indulge their negative mentality when it's not good for them and it's not good for me either, So we have to try our best to gear things and in Krishna consciousness and Krishna consciousness only. Maharaj, you want to add something?
I'm not very tolerant about this. What can I say? Sometimes I feel a little awkward when I'd like to have some sort of nice exchange with someone, but there doesn't seem to be any way to get into it without dipping into some of that. And I feel like I should express some kind of care or affection to this person, but I just can't bear to talk about, and I just can't do it. I'm just and it gives me I feel like a little oh, I wish I could, but I just can't. And then I feel sort of bad, I'm very cold. I feel like that's nice, but I just can't make myself, even I want to, I'm even my heart is I should, and my mind's just no. So, I don't know what to say so much to that, but I'm a bit stuck sometimes in that track. And occasionally if someone is going on about something and you're in a car or you can't get away, then maybe you'll say something, but I can say one of the most uncomfortable things in life is when highly reputable Vaishnavas do that. I just find that I feel like I'm just in a weird dream. Is this real? How am I here? What is going on? This just does not make sense. And I just find that that one I still can't find some happy reason for. To this day I'm nah, there is no happy reason for this. There never will be. If someone can enlighten me, I'll be happy, but I've tried my best and I'm hard cut on that one. So I believe it comes down to the sincerity of people and the degree of heat they can take by constant absorption of their mind in Krishna consciousness. And it's not easy for anybody, so you can't fault anyone, you just have to carry on for yourself and not criticize. But it's just the reality, unless and until we lose all taste for those things and completely absorb our mind in these other things, it's all just a bunch of talk and propaganda until we actually do it. So that's it really. And Maharaj told it so straight. So at least I remember when I was very new, I found it very uncomfortable. And then once I had I'll confess, that's one thing I like about having saffron cloth, is that I significantly noticed once I started to wear saffron cloth, the amount of times people would casually just come with that to me just started to go down. and that I was very happy with that, and I found that, even before that, but if you're in a specific community over time, when people see a pattern that you never engage in that, eventually they kind of get that and stop bringing it to you. Yeah. And so if people are finding that it's hard to avoid, if they can have the discipline to demonstrate a pattern, many devotees will recognize that and just understand and have some regard for that. Yeah. So it takes a bit of discipline, but then not to annoy, not to be snobby, not to be cold, not to be all of this is the other side of it, which is also difficult, or requires care and attention to. And I should probably listen to what I'm saying, because I sometimes think I'm maybe a bit non-social in some circumstances, which maybe I should be, or maybe people would like. But anyway, yeah.
And I think in cases like that, those persons, maybe you don't want to engage with them on that level, but to find, we try to find some way, another way of showing our care, right?
Yes, definitely.
Yeah, and we may try to refocus them and bring up some topic which they can engage in, which is devotional, right?
Yes, definitely.
So that's the main thing, is we want the devotees to know that care is for them, but let it be along these lines, not over here,
Yes, Vishakha's good at that.
I don't know.
You're good.
I try.
At least I see you doing it. I'm like, wow, she's good, because I can't do it.
No, I'm a little too loose. I'm too slack. But I'm really happy we're having this conversation. Yeah. For me, it's really wow, these are it's easy to get lax on these. The thing is, Yukta Vairagya, it's so easy to get lax. Because it's meant to be all for Krishna, but then in that space there, then it's very easy to just become loose, So it's really good to get that slap, remember, it's meant to be only for Krishna. So I really appreciate this, very much. This is a really good reminder for me. So thank you very much, Maharaj, for bringing this up. Pull up my socks. Too slack. You finished there? Can you lead us, Maharaj?
Hare Rama Krishna, Jadavaya Namaha.
Hare Hare Nama Krishna, Jadavaya Namaha.
Jadavaya, Jadavaya, Keshavaya Namaha.
Jadavaya, Madhavaya, Keshavaya Namaha.
Jai Vishakha, Devidasi, Vishakha, Tyagi, Ashwata, Ch.Ch, Bhakti, Sundar, Vindhi, Kosamashki, Jai Vishakha, Ch.Ch, Kosamashki, Jai Kamal, Vishakha, Santa Saraswati, Kosamashki, Jai Sriyukta, Jai Ch.Ch, Guranga, Bhakti, Jai Haridas Thakur ki Jai, Sakasha Shima Mahaprabhu ki Jai, Shri Swami ki Jai, Shri Ganesha ki Jai, Shri Bhakti Devi, Muni Devi, Tulasi Devi ki Jai, Shri Radha Krishna Gopa Gopi Shama Vandana Giri Govardhan ki Jai, Grantavan Shima Bhagavatam Ch.Ch Chartam ki Jai, Ch.Ch Saraswati ki Jai, Vishnu Yakti Kali Shakma ki Jai, Jai Shri Bhakti Nirmala Charjanash ki Jai, Ch.Ch Saraswat Mat Acharya Vrinda ki Jai, all these Sangha-devotees ki Jai, Devotees ki Jai, Jai Shri Bhakti Charjanash ki Jai, Shri Hari Nam Sankirtan ki Jai,
Hari Haribo Jai Shri Vishakha Didi ki Jai.